Dave Smith, Cracks Lost Your Lifestyle. Trying to get my videos out a little quicker. Doing poorly at that, but this video is taking me probably 9 different recordings to get it right. Of course, I'm speaking about the untimely death of George Floyd. It's one of those topics that I don't particularly care to talk about, but it is mainstream in the media. 2020 has been a real rotten year thus far. I have often heard that through memes and various social media outlets that if 2020 was a drink, it would be colonoscopy prep. Yeah, just a really rotten year thus far. I mean, when you start the year with a global pandemic that pretty much shuts down life as we know it, and then while tensions are still running high from unemployment and nobody having any money to make ends meet, you have a few bad cops commit a heinous crime against an individual by the name of George Floyd. I call it a crime because that's what it was. It was a crime. What they did to that man was a crime. Yes, George Floyd was being arrested. Yes, George Floyd committed a crime. But I do not see any way, shape, or form that what the officers did to that individual was justified. It wasn't. It was uncalled for. It was a grossly inhumane act. And if you don't share that opinion, it's fine. I don't care. It's my opinion. It's my opinion only. Folks, don't let the actions of these few men skew your perception of the rest of us in the profession. We're not them, okay? But more than talking about what happened to Mr. Floyd is what happened afterward. The response from the people, the rioting, the looting, the burning down businesses, the attacking defenseless people because you're trying to stand in opposition of what happened to Mr. Floyd. I don't understand how violence and criminal behavior in any way, shape, or form can be seen as opposition to what happened. You have violence and opposition to a violent act. I'm not able to see how that makes sense. My mom and dad always told me when I was growing up that 2 wrongs doesn't make it right. So how is it that going around and burning and looting and rioting and tearing things up in response to a man being murdered is right? How does that make things right? I don't understand how that makes things right. I honestly think it makes things worse. That being said, folks, the age-old adage stands true that 1 or 2 rotten apples can potentially ruin a bushel. Let's not let that happen in this time, because those are the rotten apples. Those men are the rotten apples, and they are being arrested, charged, and dealt with. They are. I hear a lot of people talk biblical terms. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I've heard that a lot over the years, and The only thing I've got to say about that is if we all believed an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, we'd be a lot of people running around blind and hungry because we wouldn't have any eyes or teeth left. So it has to stop somewhere. And I think it needs to stop so that we can heal. It needs to stop so that we can properly mourn, so that we can heal, so that we can move forward. Rioting and looting, that's walking backwards, folks. That's really walking backwards. And I've seen it a lot in my lifetime. I really have. I've seen it a lot in my lifetime. Do I think it's right what the officers did to George Floyd? Hell no. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's even close to right. It's certainly not in any policy that I've ever read for a law enforcement agency, let alone corrections. I mean, I comport myself better than that. We have a phrase that we coin in corrections all the time: when the resistance stops, the force stops. If we are having to use force to gain compliance, once compliance is gained, force stops. It's really that simple, people. I don't know what these officers were thinking. I'm inclined to believe that they might not have been thinking. But regardless, they're being dealt with. They've been arrested, they're being charged, they're being dealt with. Now, we as a country need to go on ahead, move forward, so we can heal, so that we can repair the fracture caused by this act. I really don't have much else to say on the subject, folks. This is David Smith, Correctional Officer Lifestyle. Please remember that I am on a crusade. Hashtag love shouldn't hurt. If you are in an abusive relationship, or you know somebody that's in an abusive relationship, get out of it or help them get out of it. A lot of times people that are in an abusive relationship don't see a way out. And it just recently resulted in the suicide of somebody that was a friend of the family. And there's people there to help you. And if you know of somebody that's in an abusive relationship, be the person that's there to help them. Remember, in corrections and law enforcement, we are our brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. Period. That's all I got, folks. I will see you in the next video. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. This is Dave Smith, Correctional Officer Lifestyle, and I will see you in the next video. Later.